Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome back to your ITFC fan reaction show. It is, of course, finished Ipswich Town FC 0, Portsmouth 2 in the world's longest game of football. Well, it certainly felt like that anyway. Town exit the Pizza Cup. Didn't really care anyway, to be honest with you. But hey, we're here to break it down, to have a conversation about what we've just seen. Poor Andy Barrell says, I can't believe I just watched that. You and many others. Let's get the housekeeping out of the way nice and early. Hit the like button, please. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. But certainly, please do hit that thumbs up button. Neil Perks, on a side note, love watching the boys in Devon on Saturday. They were brilliant. And a big 3 points. Hopefully, Harness injury isn't too bad. Yes, fingers crossed. Prayers for Marcus Harness' injury. Don't want another one, particularly to a forward player such as Marcus. Glenn Pay's Town players look well off the pace. Gino, I thought we would have made a better fist of it than we did. Better to go out all guns blazing rather than that soggy pizza of an offering. Darren, another injury to the list. Don't forget, support the platform. Super chats all read out tonight. Or become a fifth stander. Hit the join button on YouTube or head to Ko-Fi. $4.99 a month. Epic value. I mean, you just paid a fucking tenner for this bollocks. So, you know, after that, you get my lovely mug. Boom. Win-win. Win-win. Blur, Harness injured. What the fuck? I didn't know. Sorry, Blur. Didn't mean to upset you. Norman Guerrero, Keogh and Edmondson, a.k.a. Slow and Sloppy. Not always a bad thing. Right. We are going to go to Mr. Stephen Thompson. Stephen Thompson, welcome. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm a little bit deflated after that, but...
A bit deflated. Yeah. What are your overall thoughts of the world's longest game?
Oh, it was awful. Just waiting for the time to tick by. It's terrible. Started off really brightly, you know.
Could have how quickly did he got a goal?
Yeah.
You know, that header across the 6 yard, he's just got to, you know, he gets it on target. Either side of the goalkeeper, it's a goal, but he didn't score. But if you get the goal then, obviously it's a completely different night, isn't it?
Yeah, I reckon if we'd have got that goal, we'd have progressed. We'd have got another maybe one or two, and would have been through. But yeah.
My granddad Will should be a bloke.
There you go.
Yeah. But, you know, I'm saying it the world's longest game. Obviously, it wasn't the world's longest game in reality, but every time I looked at the clock, nothing appeared to have changed.
No, they're still playing as poorly as they were 5 minutes ago. But 5 minutes, yeah, it took a long time to tick down today.
Yeah, it was like working on the checkout at Tesco again, Steve, when I was 18, 19. Just literally, I was clock watching the whole time.
Clock watching, waiting for clock off time.
Like, you know, what could I be doing instead of this? You know what I mean? But there we go. We are where we are. We're out of the Pizza Cup. You were looking forward to seeing Humphreys. How did he do for you?
Yeah, really well. I think he was probably the brightest spark on the pitch for us tonight. I think, great passes, some great runs. He had a couple of shots here and there. I think him and also Titibar as well. He did very well. He came on for Harness. I was quite impressed with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he looked a good player when he came on. Obviously, not the circumstances we would have wanted him to come into. The link is now in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Have your say tonight. But yeah, he looked another handful. Roy Clark Jackson will be a striker as long as Roy's got a hole in his ass. Yeah. Always reminds me of my dad. That saying. He used to love busting out that saying to anything and everything. If you want to know what my dad was like when he was alive, think of sort of Ricky Tomlinson as Jim Royal, that sort of level, you know. Yeah. He would never admit it. Cross with Del Boy, he would always throw in a good mix. A Monge 2 or a whatever. You know, and everyone would love him. And anyway, but yeah, so that. There we go. Chris Boyd, one shot on target all game at home. Deja vu. Bucks will be pumped to players at the weekend. Max, fact, we should be watching penalties at the moment, though. Burns, clipped, clear, spot, kick. Was it a penalty for you, Steve?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, it looked like I said, the commentator said, we only get one angle, but it looked like it was a clear penalty. I don't know what the ref was thinking at that point, where his head went, but yeah, it should have been 1-1, and it should have. Yeah, we should have been watching pens right now.
I won't ask you for a player of the match because that would be really quite unfair because we just lost 2-0. Unless you say, no, Gov, I want to give you one. I've got one. What I will say is, at the start of the show, I asked you or the start of the night rather, I asked you a scale of 1 being non-excitement, 10 being it's literally I'm so excited. Where were you? I'm going to ask you now on a scale of bothered, 1 being completely not bothered, look at my face, bothered, face, bothered, or 10 being, look, I'm so bothered about this, I'm not going to sleep a wink tonight. Where are you on the bothered rating?
I'm about a 6 or a 7. I know
you're quite bothered then.
I am. It's a stupid trophy anyway, and hopefully we never get to play in it again. But it's it's a win is a win, and the saying of winning breeds confidence and all that sort of thing. And a lot of the guys did put in a good effort. It was sloppy from certain players tonight, but people like Zizibar and Humphreys, Greg Lee did well when he was on as well. So it would have been good to get a result, with those guys playing. But at the end of the day, I know the league is more important, and at the end of the day, I'd rather leave this league and get up rather than progress in this cup. So,
all right, Steve.
It's frustrating for now, but the bigger picture is obviously league. So,
good man. Your work is done. We'll see you tomorrow at 7:15 F1.
Yes, I will see you there.
Look after yourself, Mr. Parry. Welcome in. How you doing?
Hi, my friend. I'm good. I'm good. Well,
good man.
As good as you can be after that. At the end of the day, I'm not really that bothered. It's the Pizza Cup. Would a trip to Wembley be nice? Of course it would. But, as today showed, Harness got injured. These cups can be a distraction from the league. I would rather put our errors away now than in 2 weeks. And it's also shown that our depth isn't as quality as what sometimes it is, or we might think it is. For me, it showed to me that he wasn't overly fussed about losing this when Harness got injured. And for me, the change would have been Jackson going to number 10 and Ladapo going up front.
Okay.
I've got nothing against the young lads. This is not me having a rant at the young lads. And also when Armin came on and Ladapo still didn't come on. I'm thinking I don't think he's really that bothered. And let's be fair, McKenna had said this was like the third or fourth choice cup. Let's not beat around the bush. This is not some, Europa League. You get into Europa League if you win it. You get this little mug. Well, I've got a nicer mug from Talking Town. Come on. It's not a great competition. So let's not beat around. Everybody says, "Oh, we've never played at Wembley." So what? I'd rather not play at Wembley in the Pizza Cup if that's all the only chance we're going to get playing the bloody Wembley. I'd rather play the Wembley playoffs than Pizza Cup. Am I disappointed we lost? Yes, because not that we lost, the way we lost. They didn't beat us. I saw people saying, "Oh, we're not." They didn't. They're cutting us open. They weren't cutting us open. They did exactly what Crunchy said. Yeah. They got the goal from our mistake. And if it wasn't for Wolfie slipping, he wouldn't have scored. Let's not beat around the bush. Yeah. Edmondson made a mistake and gave the ball away several times. And I think that sealed his fate for the next few games, at least. And, he recovered for the goal. And I thought once he'd recovered and the ball played away, that everything was clear. And then Wolfie slipped, and then he left his man. That left his man to let free. It happens. I said right from the start that pitch looks a bit bald.
You did, to be fair to you.
And there are a lot of people slipping, and I'm thinking, we need to look at that. Maybe playing this way isn't the right way for this pitch as it is. I'm concerned that a lot of mistakes are happening. Edmondson and Keogh, to be honest, made some serious howlers tonight, and they need to reflect on that. But am I bothered? Not really, no. Am I bothered if we lose on Saturday? Not really, no. We're not going to win it. Let's not beat around the bush. Beating Buxton doesn't mean we're going to win the FA Cup. We've got no chance of winning that. I would rather our players have a run out. Some of our players have a run out. And if we lose, we lose. If we win, we win. Mm-hmm. And focus on the league. The league is the priority. It always has to be the priority. And, you don't. That's why Man City and people like that don't play their main players in the cup games, because they don't care. The league is all that matters to them. And I don't know how bad Anders's injury is. He walked off, but he limped off. You know, we didn't have Chaplin tonight. You know, we've got several other big players missing. We can't afford these, you know, these, you know, all it takes, you know, we don't know what Portsmouth's mindset was. Let's give this player a kick. Let's get him injured. It might help us in the league. You know, we might draw, but they might lose. You know, we've got to think of this mindset. Against Buxton, I don't think that'll matter because if we have an injury, it won't affect them in the league. It bloody well does tonight. If we lose Arnott for any length of time, that benefits Portsmouth massively.
Yeah, I'm not going to go out and say that they were deliberately sort of targeting a player to get him injured or not, but maybe just to clarify that, I don't think that was in their mindset. But maybe we'll be happy to let Jackson go to make room for a striker or two. Would you be, Stephen?
I would rather Jackson as a number 10 or probably even a backup for Burns. I don't think he's a striker.
He's not a hold it man, that's for sure.
He did a quite a good job holding, but he's not a finisher. His instinct isn't to score goals, and we know that because he hardly scores any goals. You know, I'm not here to beat Jackson over the head with a stick because he wasn't the only person that lost us that game.
I'd like it known my client prefers to play on the wing, but you know.
I think he's better.
I don't know that for sure, by the way. That's just a joke.
But I do actually think he struggles out on the wing because he's faster than everybody else. So when he gets when he's in a Burns position and he gets right out there, he's always ahead of the game. So it's like, what does he? You know, he crosses in and there's nobody there because there's nobody keeping up with him. I think we just have to. You know, at the end of the day, January's a month off. Yeah, a month and a half off. You know. According to Mark Ashton, deals are in progress now, which I would expect them to be. You know, what happens in January, I do not know. Our most important thing is keeping the players we've got fit. And if that means that we have to sacrifice a couple of cup competitions for me, then so be it. Because the league is paramount and more important. I would rather have not played. If you know, obviously, with hindsight, if we'd have known Harness was going to get a knock, I'd rather him not been on the field. You know,
sure.
I'd rather have played young kids on there and get tronched, you know, and kept our main players fit. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. We are where we are, and all these shenanigans. But we need to start learning from these mistakes because Edmondson's better than that. Keogh's better than that. We all know this. You know, even Burgess when he came on, he looked sloppy. It looked like we weren't on it tonight. And I don't know what's that from. Maybe it's from so many changes. I don't know. But it's as if we weren't really interested because it seemed that from the changes that were being made. You know, this is not a disparagement to Armin or Zaziba, you know, but they didn't look like progressive changes. They looked like, well, we need to give them minute changes.
Okay.
I would rather, like I said, I'd rather have seen, instead of Zaziba coming on, I'd rather have seen Jackson going into the number 10 and Ladapo up front. A statement of intent. And with that not happening, I'm thinking like, well, does Kieran really bother? Is he really bothered about this? I don't think he was. So I'm not going to be bothered about it. Okay. I'm not going to be ranting on Twitter all night about it. No. I'm just going to put this behind me and say, well, the league's more important for me.
Perfect. Stephen, as always, appreciate you coming on, my man. Look after yourself. Great comments, as always. We've got Lee Bayliss with KM. We'll utilise the squad in both games this week. We'll probably be a stronger side out on Sunday. Maxton was an embarrassment today. Poor officials, but some lethargic, slow football, and Jackson not good enough. Only positive for Matt was Cameron Humphreys and Sozabar. Chris Boyd, we still haven't worked out how to break down teams who packed the box. Exeter didn't play that on Saturday as they were at home, but everyone will at Portman Road. Matt Winger, that ball that Burns played across the box near the end is ideal for an out-and-out striker for simple tapping, like time and time again against Cheltenham. Curate, we lacked our width and bombing forward, so we ended up looking devoid of ideas and stuck. Sega Zombie, we played wide and looked to whip crosses in the box. We didn't have a player in the squad to bang those goals in. No, that does sound like a lot like the Lincoln or Cheltenham games for sure, Sega, where we're whipping those crosses into the box and nobody quite in the central areas to find them. Harps, KM is finding out who he can trust on the pitch to take us over the finishing line. I wouldn't be surprised if ruthless decisions are made in January, Mike D.
Hi, mate.
Hello,
what
mate.
I don't know. It was Pizza Cup game, innit? I'm not really that fast.
On a scale of 1
I also think, there's only 6,000 there, wasn't there? I mean, no one else seems fast either.
No. No, that probably didn't help with the whole time issue where the crowd seemed to be sat on their hands and cold and like.
Yeah.
I can't blame them. Here, my iFollow suite. I can't blame
exactly.
them,
Don't blame you either, mate. I think like 43 minutes though. I thought we were right, and then
they scored.
It turned into dancing on ice a bit at the end, didn't it? Everyone was all over the place. It was like dancing with each other. Water in the pitch, mate. You love it.
Exactly. I wasn't there tonight, so I can't say for sure how heavy they watered that pitch even if they did. But every week I come on this platform and I say they bloody overwatered that pitch. And the moment Wolfie slipped, I was like,
well, Camera looked like Bambi on ice at one point.
It was awful. It was woefully bad. As Steve said, the pitch was looking rather bald. Eric Clacton says we are where we are. But where are we, Mike D? Break it down. Where are we? Where is here that we are
I think
here?
we're all right, aren't we? Second in the league.
Second round of cup.
I don't know. I think it's disappointing because we've not been to Wembley or the new Wembley ever, and this was a pretty good chance, I reckon. But I mean, I think if McKenna, I agree with Beep actually. I think if he was that bothered, I think we would have seen Ladapo come on. But I don't know. It was a bit like the Lincoln blueprint, wasn't it? Pompey. They force a mistake, sit behind the ball, and we can't really break them down. We're not going to break them down with Jackson as a 9. But disappointing. I mean, Keogh. I mean, it was just I don't know what was going on at the back today. There was a
slow and sloppy. Someone called in the chat earlier.
Someone just get. I mean, I thought Morsey did all right, but Keogh looked all over the shop at the back. He shouldn't be allowed to play the ball out loud. Franco Baresi. He needs to just play it simple. But he is. I don't know. I don't really know how I feel. Really,
it's a tough one, isn't it? I've titled the show "Town Exit the Pizza Cup." Didn't care anyway, but it's almost like
it was just.
I kind of do care, but
do you
know what I mean?
Don't worry, mate. We'll have Champions League finals to go to soon.
What, at Wembley?
Well, it used to be at Wembley every year, didn't it?
What, Champions League final?
Pay it off. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It might have been, but
ask about Phillips.
We have to, absolutely. Yeah. I'm not sure he'll know though. Lewis O'Connor, Camera wasn't shocking. He was playing with players who didn't give two shits. You will see Kamara boss that midfield before the season is over. How did you see Kamara's game?
I thought he did. First half, I was actually thinking he looks quite good next to Cameron. I thought Humphreys looked pretty tidy. I thought Kamara gave us a bit of legs. Morsey was doing all right. And then it was just like 43rd minute. Everyone just all of a sudden turned... I don't know. It just dropped off a cliff a little bit.
It did.
And then poor bloke, second half, he couldn't do anything right. I mean, he should have shot. He had a chance, take a touch, have a shot. But I don't think anyone was having a shot today. It was just one of those really, really, I don't know. I'm getting used to these performances at home a little bit. It was a bit Cheltenham at home, wasn't it?
That's the worry, isn't it? That you are starting to get used to those performances at home, isn't it?
I mean, we just, I think... Jackson as a 9, it just doesn't work. What do you think about Jackson as a 9? I mean, you were talking about him playing number 9 last week, weren't you?
I was, yeah. Jackson's a funny player. Sometimes he'll turn up and be really good, and other times he just won't turn up. Tonight for me was a bit of a hit and miss night, where points you thought, okay, yeah, we can work with that. And other points you think, oh, Christ.
Do you think sides have worked out to players at home?
Yeah, easy. Just dig yourself in, make yourself nice and compact. Wait for a ball that's going to be loose, and then hit on the counter attack. And it happened. First goal, exactly like that. Edmondson's telegraphed that pass.
But Cheltenham though scored early. That's what we wanted, and I don't know. Yeah, it's funny.
But again, their goal came through. Us on
another mistake.
Yeah, exactly. Us pressing as you would expect at home, a loose pass, a sloppy touch, or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And then, 2 or 3 passes and it's in the net. And the only saving grace, I suppose, from this perspective was it wasn't a goalkeeping error, was it? The first, it was Hladky had no chance with either really, particularly the first one.
Lewis says, save. Sorry.
Yeah, he's a funny keeper, Hladky. Like in any other team, I think he'd be number 1. But obviously with Christian Walton here, and the start he was a part of, where it was all a state of flux. Let's be honest. You know, like I can't hold that against him too much, but it was to an extent that we brought another goalkeeper in, and the rest is, as they say, history. So Kamara out of 10 before I let you go, Mike, and bring in Neil.
6. I don't think anyone gets over a 7. I mean, it's 6. I think Humphreys was probably our best player today.
Yeah.
7 for him.
Another good performance from the lad, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
I
on the
agree
ball.
with that. Perfect. All right, Mike. Appreciate you coming on. Look after yourself.
No worries, mate.
All the best. We've got people saying, when does Jackson show up? I'm not going to answer those. Neil, welcome in. We've got Kev Sherwood here. Jackson is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3. Will never, ever work. Sounds like a new Taylor Swift song, to be fair.
Yeah.
No? What are your thoughts on Jackson this tonight?
He's more of a winger, isn't he? Unfortunately, and he put in some good touches. He ended up going round the corner of a player, didn't he? There was a bit of a nothing ball into him, fired in, and he managed to get a touch round and run onto it. He done a few other good things, but no, he's not a striker, and he never looked like scoring tonight.
How about Greg Lee? Obviously, first game back from the injury. How did you see his performance tonight?
Yeah, played reasonably well. Not quite Davis, I don't believe, but yeah, it was good to see him again.
Yeah, not quite Davis. What about his performance tonight makes you say not quite Davis? Obviously, he had that great opportunity the first sort of opening minutes where he's headed it and good save by the goalkeeper, but you know, probably should score.
Yeah, he should have done better on that one, shouldn't he? To be fair, Kamara had an effort that wasn't too dissimilar sort of area that he should have put away. Was it from a corner? Free kick?
Do you know what? I don't know which game we're talking about, to be honest with you. This game's gone on the whole entirety of my 32 years on this planet Earth. That's what it feels like. It feels like I've grown up watching this game. I'm not going to lie, Neil. It feels like tonight's been the longest night of my life.
It was end to end.
Was it?
Yeah. It was rather a erratic performance. It wasn't our usual.
No.
And,
but they made a number of changes, to be fair. You know,
we kept pushing up our defence, and the likes of Keogh and that kept giving it away to the first man they could.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'll just bring in Mike. He's in the car. I know he is. Mike, very quickly, welcome in. What are your comments tonight?
Well, evening, chaps. Look, I mean, I said it at the start. I'm not worried about the result. I am annoyed at the manner of the defeat, though.
Oh, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, Jackson, you could give that boy 12 shots and he'd never score a goal. First half, look, the first half weren't bad game. First
Poor
half.
old Jacko.
But second half, we were absolute dog shit to the back. Edmondson should never play on the left-hand side of a 3 ever again. Never again should he play there. And Keogh shouldn't even put a Town shirt back on. He was utter poo. I mean, of the highest order. And then you stick Kamara and that Kamara, or whatever his bloody name. Honestly, he was woeful. Look, the only players that come out with any credibility out of there really was probably Morsey and Humphreys. You know, I mean, KVY looked a bit ring rusty. Greg Lee looked a bit ring rusty. He's just come back from injury. So you kind of accept them performances. But Harness looked a bit innocuous. So I'm going to lie, it looked a bit medial to me. We'll have to see what they say. But for me, look, you know, Portsmouth just, I mean, you know, these players are meant to be sort of, I don't know, players to back up the ones that are not. Like I said, I'm just annoyed. I actually completely flew at Edmondson because there weren't many people on my side of the stand. When he gave it away, I just simply said, Edmondson, will you just sort your head out? You know what I mean? He looked at me and gave me a funny look, but I don't care because he was utterly poor in that second half. And it's a shame, really, because, you know, a few fans wanted the Wembley, you know, want the Wembley trip. Me, I'm not.
Would have been nice. Cup
final, no. Over promotion, nah. I can see why we're looking at other players in the transfer window, because based on that, based on them second string. Yeah, I mean, Wolfie weren't bad at the back. He slipped for the first goal, but I think again he's sort of covering for Danasi and any a bit, and I like him in the middle. I think he's a far better defender. Edmondson, I've got to give him a little bit of credit. When he switched to that right hand side, he looked a lot better. He looked a lot more comfortable, and he looked it just seemed more natural for him. But Burgess coming on the left hand side looked good. Composed. Humphreys again composed. Morsey composed. But the rest of the squad, the rest of the team today, second half specifically, I would say, there was some real stinky performances out there today.
Okay, perfect. Well, not perfect, obviously, but perfect thoughts from yourself.
Look, I went with me. Look, negatives, players were dog shit, some of them. Positive, I got to go to a game with my brother, and we were freezing. We left after the second goal, and that was it, really. So, job done. Forget about that pizza cup now. We can concentrate on the league.
Yeah, all right. Mike, safe journey back. Look after yourself. Warm up in the car.
Best, yeah.
Warm up. We've not had such problems, have we, in the iFollow Suite, Neil, tonight? The heating's been absolutely beautiful.
Radiator just here. Yeah, glorious.
Glorious. Ben Hobbs says, Harness having a scan tomorrow. What sort of are you concerned that's going to be a big blow to our next month of with some big games coming up? Peterborough on the horizon, Oxford, Wickham, just to name 3 of the 5.
Yeah, he was one of the positives today until that happened to him.
Yeah.
And we will miss him.
Yeah, big time. So you mentioned Lee Edmondson. How do you see Edmondson's game? Because you've got a couple of comments here. Andy Bowell, Edmondson can never play left side again. He says the 3rd or 4th goal given away. Kev Sherb, man of the match, referee for blowing the whistle. Normally, if you're looking to bring in players in January previous, then KVY, Jackson Edmondson now in amber. Keogh slows us down far too much. Chris Boyd, Fridge was so good at the start of the season. He's making mistake after mistake after mistake now. How did you, just to tack onto the back of the fisherman's thoughts there, what were your final thoughts on the Fridge as we close?
I'm not particularly sure that. I'd say it was more the fact that there wasn't enough. We were pushing so far up that all of the players on the pitch were just compressed into half the pitch, basically, and none of our team particularly moved into space. So when you got the centre backs looking for someone to pass, the only easy pass is between themselves. And enough part of the through balls that Keogh had tried to do just went to the first man, or there was another one mopping up behind him, and they ended up doing the on the break job. And I just think that's on us and how we set up for the game. That's not particularly on him. But why are you asking your centre backs to be the creative force?
That's what McKenna does, though, isn't it? That's the way we like to play. And I do think with ball playing defenders, particularly over more traditional clear line defenders, you're going to get higher risk, higher reward, and no risk it, no biscuit type of performances. And that pass to the first goal, that's what you want Edmondson to be doing, looking up, wanting to play a pass, not being flustered. The technique, the execution has to be better, obviously, because it's a telegraph pass that's then away. But even after that pass for the first goal, Neil, there's still lots to do for them. Nobody really covers themselves in a whole world of glory, from obviously Wolfie slipping, no fault of his own, of course, but then
Yeah, but wasn't that given away? But basically, we had possession and they just passed.
Yeah, by Edmondson. Yeah, that pass out to the left. It was just a telegraph. It put into his feet, and he wanted to put it out to the left, which I want to say was Humphreys at the time, but it could have been somebody else.
But to be fair, he weren't the only one to do it. Just generally being a centre back and your other defenders slipping over and things, it's just the way it rolls. You end up conceding.
Yeah. Final word, Chris Boyd, Kieran McKenna and Marcus Harness. Doesn't look good. He'll need to have a scan in the morning, took a knock to the knee, so fingers crossed. We're back tomorrow at 8:45. It's 15 minutes later than normal because obviously the World Cup is in play. With me tomorrow is Neil Willamore, and also still looking for one more person. We've also got the F1 show at 7:15, so do join us for both of those tomorrow. But until then, it has finished Town 0, Portsmouth 2. Town exit the Pizza Cup. Didn't care anyway, but I do care about the performance. Hit the like, subscribe, become a Talking Town Fist Tanner today. Become a part of the community that's for fans, by fans, one club, one community, one Ipswich Town. We'll see you tomorrow, 8:45. Thank you very much, Neil.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I am down or when I am blue, I can't get enough. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. I woke up all soaked in sweat, weird chills running down my neck. I thought went crazy from just the thought of you. A long blonde hair and you